year 1957. And in Atlanta,
This is your Atlanta Journal station, WSB in Atlanta, Georgia.
WSB Radio's now legendary program manager, Elmo Ellis, decides that what the radio station needs is a news department and a reporter to go with it. A reporter to go out and get the news and report live from where the news was going on, a first for Atlanta broadcasting. So who does Ellis hire? A veteran Atlanta Journal reporter with a sandpaper speaking voice just right for a newspaper man, Aubrey Morris. And as Morris himself recalled in 2005, his on-air debut was like nothing news listeners had ever heard.
Elmo Ellis got a postcard the following day. Said, "Dear Elmo, where did you get this guy Aubrey Morris?" Said, "Fire him."
Fire him? Ellis ignored the critics.
But I decided that moment
And Morris quickly won them over.
that I would make my long radio career, I would make it succeed because of the peculiar sound of my voice.
And thus was born one of the most respected and celebrated journalism careers in Atlanta broadcasting history.
He had printer's ink running through his veins, but he was the newsman's newsman.
Competitors sprang up and marveled. Eric Seidel was news director of rival WGST Radio.
The audience tuned in for him, okay? And there are stories about when an ice storm hit, Aubrey could shut down the city. All he had to do was say, "Stay home."
Aubrey Morris, this native of Roswell, Georgia, this University of Georgia journalism graduate who had already covered some of the biggest stories in Atlanta during his 13 years with the Journal, including the horrific Winecoff Hotel fire in 1946. Aubrey Morris became the archetype of broadcast journalist who followed. He was armed with the deepest sources and with persistence. Colleague and former WSB radio news director Bob Ketchersid remembers Morris asking Georgia Governor Carl Sanders about a possible tax increase.
And he said, "Well, Aubrey, I don't have any comment." Aubrey replied, "Well, if you did have a comment, what would you say?" And I think he might have gone ahead and given a comment.
Right.
I was at WSB Radio approximately 35 years.
Morris told WSB TV reporter Don McClellan in 2006 that in all those years, there was one morning that would always stand out, the tragic Sunday morning of June 3, 1962. A plane bound for Atlanta crashed on takeoff at Orly Airport in Paris, killing 122 of Atlanta's top arts patrons and supporters who had been in Paris planning what would become Atlanta's Memorial Arts Center and Symphony Hall.
And I remember Elmo Ellis when I told him the only way to cover that story, Mr. Ellis, is for me to go to Paris.
And that afternoon, Morris was on a plane to Paris along with Atlanta Mayor Ivan Allen. That was Aubrey Morris. They called him the man who brought newspapers to radio. They were only partly right. Aubrey Morris showed with his entire career in print and in broadcasting that the medium was never the point. Good journalism was the point.
This is a battle between historic Roswell and the bulldozers.
At the end of his career and at the beginning, hard news and features.
Radio car 750 now in Alpharetta, where the mule train loaded with gold is drawing closer to Atlanta.
Aubrey Morris, who died in 2010 at the age of 88, delivered spectacularly.
Just an absolute gentleman. And you have to accentuate the word gentle when you say gentleman about Aubrey, because he was that. He was just really a wonderful man.
And it's important to be trustworthy, and Aubrey was certainly trustworthy. No question about that. If he reported it, you can believe it.
Aubrey Morris, 2017 inductee, Atlanta Press Club Hall of Fame.